Slide. You better be ready to make decisions as well. First Gulf War, I was flying an A-10 or an F-16 mission, first day of the ground war. A bunch of us were up on a common strike frequency, and a guy named Bill Andrews was shot down right in the middle of the retreating Republican Guard Armor Division. Strike controller came up on the frequency and said, "We got an F-16 down. Here's the coordinates." So everybody's looking at their map, trying to figure out where this was. "I need anybody with the weapons and fuel to support a search and rescue effort to call back." And as I'm looking at these coordinates, looking at my map, I was doing the same thing everybody else in the air was going, which is thinking, oh man, that is a bad place to be on the ground. And there was a deathly silence on the radio, until an Army helicopter pilot came on, flying one of these things, a Chinook. And the pilot said, "Look, I've got the gas, I can get there, I'll go pick him up." I'm thinking, that's the size of a double-decker bus in London. It's got no guns. And you're going to fly that thing into the middle of a retreating Iraqi armor division to pick up one pilot. First time in my life I ever said, hooah. I was impressed. Shortly thereafter, we got a call saying that he'd been captured. They canceled the search and rescue effort. And that Chinook never had to make an attempt. That pilot never had to prove that they were really willing to do it. But I never forgot that radio call. And I'll never forget her voice. First time I told this story when we got back from the Gulf War, one of the people in the audience came up to me afterward and says, "I know who that was. I just got out of the Army. The only person it could have been is Major Marie Rossi." Next slide. She was the only combat certified aircraft commander in the United States Army at the time. So I went looking for her, and sure enough, he was right. It was Major Marie Rossi. And once I confirmed that was her name, I said, I'm going to go meet her. I want to tell her thank you, because she was inspirational at a time when people needed it. It took me a little while to find her. Slide. But I did. 2 days after the war ended, she and her crew were called out at 2 in the morning to pick up a soldier whose arms had been blown up by trying to pick up weapons that were left from an airdrop, cluster munitions. She picked him up and was heading back to the base on the Saudi-Kuwait border or the Saudi-Iraq border, excuse me, when they hit an unlit radio tower. The helicopter crashed and they were all killed. She lives here now, in one of the newer sections of Arlington National Cemetery, and I kept my promise. I went and met her. And I stood in front of that rock and thanked her for her courage, for her dedication, for the inspiration she gave so many of us that day, for her sacrifice, and the sacrifice of her husband and her young daughter. My son, Matt, who's still not a real touchy-feely kind of guy, when I told him this story, he goes, "Yeah, Dad, you must have felt pretty stupid standing there talking to that rock." At attention, which I was. I don't know why. And I answered him, actually, not stupid, just proud.